Welcome to Writing Research Article Introductions. Did you know nearly all published articles in engineering follow the same three-step argument pattern in the introduction? It's true. We will teach you the common structure of introductions so that your paper stands out to peer reviewers and journal editors. In this video, we begin by explaining the goal of an introduction section in a research article. Then we will break down the three-step pattern and show examples of the pattern in published articles. First, what is the purpose of a research article introduction? The introduction to your research article establishes the topic, problem, and goal of your project. You want readers to understand the motivation for your work, be situated in related literature, and learn what you sought to do in the study. Because this section has a common goal, many writers can use the three-step pattern we describe here. This pattern is called creating a research space, and it was first identified by Dr. John Swales in 1990. The first step of an introduction is to establish the territory or topic and context of your study. Most engineering researchers do this in a couple of ways. The first several sentences of the introduction should state the topic and its importance in the field. Don't leave this second part out. Explaining the importance is crucial for journal editors and peer reviewers to understand that your research is of current interest to journal readers. For example, you can say that the accelerated rate of local sea level rise poses a threat to coastal communities, or that your topic will play a fundamental role in decarbonizing the grid. On the screen, we show you just a few of the many ways that researchers describe their work as being important in their field. This could take you just one paragraph or a couple. In this first move, after you establish the topic and its importance, you will also establish existing knowledge about the topic by reviewing the literature. You will start with broader information and gradually narrow down the focus of the review to your specific research problem. In some journals, the introductions are longer, and you may review the literature and gradually narrow your topic over several paragraphs. Other journals may feature shorter introductions and have a separate background or literature review section. Always decide how long your introduction will be based on what is common in your target journal and what best fits your study. The goal of stating existing knowledge and reviewing literature in your introduction is to establish for readers unfamiliar with your specific area of study what is currently known related to your topic and what work remains to be done. Let's take a look at an example research article introduction in environmental engineering to see how the authors established the territory. Their opening sentence states the general area of research with the mention of sea level rise. The sentences after that in the opening paragraph then establish the severity of sea level rise, implying its significance as a topic. The authors then start to narrow their focus on coastal communities and their stormwater infrastructure. They point out gaps in the field's understanding of the topic. They continue their literature review for 3 more paragraphs, gradually narrowing as they go. By the end of the literature review, they have gotten to the exact specific topic of their research, the potential role of tidal flooding as a mechanism for fecal contamination in coastal waters. Now we move on to step 2 of your research article introduction. Step 2 is short and straightforward. Describe the specific gap or research problem your study examines. Why do you need to do this? Journal editors and peer reviewers need to know precisely what question you are trying to answer to evaluate if your study achieved its goals and makes a contribution to the literature. To state the gap, we recommend using a contrastive turn word to make it clear for readers. Common ones include however, but, though, not yet fully understood, and other similar words and phrases. However is definitely the most common. In our example journal article, the authors state their gap clearly after the end of step 1. However, to understand how stormwater network inundation by tides is a driver of coastal fecal contamination, longitudinal data are needed to understand how contaminant dynamics vary across locations, over time, and with flood events of different magnitudes and drivers. The third and final step of the introduction is to introduce the purpose of your research study, or occupy the gap that you just created in stating the research gap. Typically, this step is found in the final paragraph of the introduction section. You want to use clear language to signal to your readers that this is the part of the introduction where you are finally talking about your study, rather than the field and prior literature. Two patterns are common here. This is the first part of the section where you refer to your work and say, this study or this research. The second is that this is the first time in the article you would refer to yourselves, the research team. You can say, we modeled or we examined here to indicate how you undertook the work. The final step of the introduction requires a few elements. You will state clearly the purpose of your study, your high-level goal, in the first sentence of the paragraph. Then you can briefly overview the methods, key findings, and structure of your study. Which elements and how much detail you include here will depend on the type of work you are doing and the journal you are submitting to. In our example article, the authors start this final step by saying, in this study, we assessed, using both of our signaling terms to show readers that they are now describing their own work. The authors then briefly describe the specific objectives, methods, and a small preview of their results. In summary, research article introductions commonly follow the same three-step pattern to show journal editors and peer reviewers the significance and contribution of your study to the field, and to make clear the specific problem and goal of your research. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos to support your research communication.